Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Develop the game that works for you. Now let me be clear, because some people think game means being manipulative and all of that. No, it's just, it's just slang for whatever strategy works for you. For you, that's the important thing. Because, okay, for example, I'm known for talking about body game, like really getting muscles and all of that. That's body game. Now, in general, I still say work to get the best body that you can. But to really practice body game, you're going to be in the gym, you're going to be putting muscles on. That's ultimately what body game means. So it's like two levels. One, getting the best body you can, but then really developing your body so it draws attention and everything. But that's just one thing. That's why I always say I don't expect it to work for everybody, because you can work to get your best body and still don't stand out. You might not be cut, you might not be muscular. That's only a small percentage of the population anyway, who can effectively use the real part of body game, the muscles and everything. All right, that don't mean there's not something else that you can do. Because understand, and I'm gonna shout out Master Teacher BGS, he broke down the 4 pillars of game. The 4 pillars that you're gonna need. Environment, what environment that you're in. And I would add to environment, like your home or something. Like on my Nice Guys and Players University, I'm like, what kind of environment you have around you and everything. That could be part of it. It's also, your bait, like body game is bait. Guys who say, well, it's the face. Okay, that's bait. But everybody don't have that face like that, so somebody might have to use something else. Your height, that can be bait. Okay, those are baits, and a lot of people focus on that. Even the muscles, that's bait. But you might not have those 3 things. You might be average face, average height, and average body build. That don't mean you can't get women. It's like, okay, you got to use something else. You got to use something else. In the previous video, I talked about an emotional connection. Like, you got some guys, they just great conversationalists, and they can talk to a woman in such a way that taps into her emotion, which can influence her decision as to what she want. Okay, that's part of the conversation. Like, and that could be your game. Your game is, okay, you know what? You ain't winning you ain't gonna be a fashion model, a male model, or a fitness model, or you might not be a jock, but you can make them laugh though. You can talk, you have the gift of gab. That's your game. That's your game. Somebody else might say, okay, my thing is I can talk once I'm with them, but I'm a regular conversationalist. There ain't nothing special and stuff. I can talk with women I can click with. All right, but their bait, their game is their style, something to catch the woman's eye. Like, you got some guys and they'll call it swag, whatever. And let me get more into that swag thing. Sometimes it's your behavior. Women respond to a man's behavior. Understand, all women are ultimately different. All of them got their thing that they're gonna focus on more. Some women, hey, you better be supermodel of the world. But then with some women, that's not as important as how you act as a man. Just being a man, being a leader. Sometimes if you're a leader, sometimes if you're bold, you gotta figure out what it is within you that attracts a woman's attention. Now, if you're one of those guys out here, and there's some, you like, I have never attracted any women or anything like that. Okay, well then, okay, body game, work on that. Work to dress better. Practice talking to women better. Find what it is about you. It could be, you could be a quiet person. Like, I never forget, when I was in school, there was this real fine, very attractive woman, and she was going crazy over this quiet, shy type of guy who, guys on the internet would call an incel or something. They would call this guy an incel if they saw him and everything. And, it was like, but she was going crazy over him. Hey, that could have been his game. Your game is whatever works for you that attracts a woman's attention. Like, if you just maybe went out with one woman in your life, one woman, or you got a kiss, if you got any attention, say, okay, what was I doing? What did I look like? How was I dressed? How was I behaving? you know? And you got to find what works for you, because ultimately you're an individual and stuff. And I'm gonna get more into this tomorrow about trying to be another man. But because there was that time, and I'll probably mention it again tomorrow, some young man on my thing said, yeah, I'm just doing what Rom, trying to talk like him and everything. And I told him, I said, dude, you gotta be yourself, you're not me. You know, what made me is a combination of genetics, my natal personality, the personality I was born with and just developed over my lifetime, and the circumstances I grew up in, the religious systems I practice. A lot of stuff goes into making somebody something. So you can't copy somebody else. And even when I talk about body game, like I said, I don't expect it to work for everybody. But it works for some people. But somebody else might say, nah, I gotta do something else. You know what, I might have to use more finesse game. Shout out my nephew, Afi Kingdom. You know, you might have to do that or something. Or you might have to be more on that alpha, just being that alpha and stuff. Shout out Dr. BOA and stuff. Or you might have to have that verbal seduction and everything. Shout out the Grandmaster of Verbal Seduction, ARC. You know, you got stuff and you got people. You just got to find, like, first of all, don't get mad if you follow somebody. Don't say, oh, that don't work or something. No, it worked for somebody. Everybody got something different and stuff. Like, I remember it was a book, it was a work of fiction, and I'm going to put a link to it in the description box. It was called No More Mr. Nice Guy. No More Mr. Nice Guy. And it was about this guy. He got kicked to the curb by this woman, basically friend zoned by this woman. And he wanted to learn how to get women. So what he did, he rented out this restaurant, and he had a group of players there. It's one of my favorite passages and stuff, because he said he had all types of players there. He said he had like the pretty boys there. He had the muscle men there and stuff. He had the homely guys who had the charisma of 10 men there. It's like, you know, it was like he had all types of players there, because he wanted to see which one would be the best at teaching him how to be a player. Everybody got different styles. I mean, and that's one of the things you just have to understand. Everybody got different styles. You could get 5 like players, because they successful at getting women. You can put 5 genuine players, or people might call them fuckboys or something, but all of them got something different. All of them ain't the same. All of them ain't gonna look like super muscular. Some of them gonna have more of a conversation, or people call it a mouthpiece. Some might be that psychological guy who can read a woman up and down. You know, others might be that stylish dresser and everything. And shoot, stylish dressers, in that book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, he called them natty dressers. I mean, you just gotta have something different, what works for you and stuff. I knew one guy, I used to call him Stealth, because he actually stuttered, so he didn't have much of him. He's quiet. When he talked, he stuttered a little bit. But he had a little stealth thing where he could, once he talked to a woman, he would just kind of slide in there. Be real cool with it, but he'd do little subtle stuffs and everything with him. How he would touch him, how he'd interact. To the point, everybody in the social circle said, if he was hanging out with a woman long, he'd be like, you hit that yet? He'd be like, nah. In fact, I joked with her one time, I said, dude, you done stroked every woman in your office. He's like, yeah. But his stuff was stealth. He'd just slide in there nice and easy. He wouldn't come blatantly hard or anything. But that's his thing. See, and that's the key thing. Figure out what works for you. Now, like I said, if nothing has worked for you, okay, develop yourself and see what works. And really, even before you do that, just start interacting. A lot of guys, they just don't interact or deal with whatever issues you got that you don't want to just talk to women or truly interact. Because most women are not going to come up to you, most and stuff. Most, let's just be real. Even if you look good, most are not going to just come up to you. It happens, but let's be real. The guys that it happened for, they have worked on all of their stuff. You know, even being approachable, that's a strategy. You just had that thing about your personality, you're just approachable. Yeah, some guys are born with it. You know, they're born with something about them. You know, only a small percentage. I give a rough number at 12%. guys who are just natural like that. You know, personality, physical appearance, combination of both and stuff. But everybody else, they had to develop something. I've talked to several actual players, because remember, I don't base what I talk about just off my own personal experience, because I'm different from everybody else. You know, I'm a unique individual. So what I did, I come across a guy I see is a player or definitely getting the attention of women, and A, I would talk with him, or B, just watch him, probably both. And several times I've said it. I still have the academic aspect of me. I still have the academic aspect. I've done several surveys, and I just talk with them. I look for common factors in everything, you know, common experiences. Shoot, just giving a woman the impression that you would be good in bed sexually, that's game in itself. That's game, because women want satisfaction. But you have to work to see what works for you and stuff. You know, and don't get caught up in like thinking you have to do some other way. As much as I promote body game, you know, it's not for everybody. Let's just be real. Like I said, the ultimate level body game technically is really at its ultimate. Even though I say, hey, get your best body, is like getting those muscles. That's body game. But everybody can't get them. I'll say, okay, see what else works. Women, they have a variety. Some, like I say, you get women out. I've known women who did not want a good-looking man and will pop out babies for them. They'll say they wanted to look better. I knew some other women, they wanted supermodels and stuff. Some women, you know, if the guy too muscular, they don't want him. But then some other women, especially women who work out in the gym, you better have some muscle, you know? Some women, you can dress just plain and ordinary, they good. The other ones, shoot, you better be fly than a champ. So, and that's just a reality. Find what works for you. It's just like, and I'll use a basketball example. I never forget this one time. I was playing a pickup basketball game, and there was a guy playing, and I've told this story before because it's very instructive. Even though he was playing, he was giving running commentary. He was like, yeah, everybody got their shot. There was a guy, you know what, the guy didn't look very athletic. The guy, you know, he was overweight, he wasn't that fast, but he had a great three-point shot. And since it was street court, it was just a long shot. But he said he had a certain spot. Once he got in that spot, he said that's his spot. Somebody else could never it was a waste of time for him to take a long shot. They ain't have a jump at all, but they could drive to the hoop like crazy. They could finish a break like crazy, you know. I knew a guy like that. It was like he was playing ball and everything. You didn't want him taking a jump shot or anything, but he got out on a break, boom. That was like an automatic too, you know? In fact, there was a commercial, I think, oh man, I forgot what it was. It was for some company, but it was this guy, Lamar Mundane. And they say he would take a three-point shot and people be yelling layup. And then there was a backstory behind him. They were like, that's because he couldn't make a layup, a real layup, so he had to take a three. But that was his shot. Hey, shoot. It was like a joke the ancestor Robin Harris made. He said somebody was talking about Larry Bird. He said, Larry Bird ain't nothing, all he got is a three-point shot. And Robin Harris was like, that's all he needs. So that, you know, figure out what works for you and just magnify it. Seriously, everybody ain't going, you know, seriously. You know, you might have to dress well. You might have to get that conversation, figure out what works for you and magnify it, all right? Your game, all right? So anyway, and for the fellas who follow body game, this the dojo for it, okay? And we got some other young men who are doing the same thing. So anyway, that's all I got for now, y'all. Get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.